Hello, dearies. I know that it's been so long. I've just been so busy this week, working a lot. School started. Tonight, it's Friday night, and I'm going to bed at 10:30, so I'm doing this at 10:16. So it's gonna be, quick so that I can get ready for bed and whatnot, because I have to work 9 to 4 tomorrow, and it's the busiest day of the year. I work at a dance leotard shoe selling place. So tomorrow's wicked busy and I really don't want to go. So I can't promise anything for tomorrow because I'll probably be wiped out. And I don't know how the rest of the week is gonna go after tomorrow night or Sunday. But I guess we'll figure it out when the time comes. As I told you before, probably not going to be doing stuff during the week because of school and everything, but from time to time, you never know. You're going to be mad at me because I haven't had time to try to find the third book or what other book am I missing? Fifth? Yeah, I haven't found the fifth one either. Excuse me. Sorry. So I'm going to go with the old standby. Sorcerer's Stone tonight. I don't know, it's pretty much my favorite out of the books that I have right now. Ooh, I just turned to a totally good page, so definitely doing this one up. Page 114, chapter 7. Oh my god, this cat's finding outside my window and I'm really scared because it sounds, not good. Anyways, so, we're gonna, if you're following along, third line down. Welcome to Hogwarts, said Professor McGonagall. The start of term banquet will begin shortly, but before you take your seats in the Great Hall, you will be sorted into your houses. The sorting is a very important ceremony because while you are here, your house will be something like your family within Hogwarts. You will have classes with the rest of your house, sleep in your house dormitory, and spend free time in your house common room. The four houses are called Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. Each house has its own noble history, and each has produced outstanding witches and wizards. While you are at Hogwarts, your triumphs will earn your house points, while any rule breaking will lose house points. At the end of the year, the house with the most points is awarded the House Cup, a great honor. I hope each of you will be a credit to whichever house becomes yours. The sorting ceremony will take place in a few minutes in front of the rest of the school. I suggest you all smarten yourselves up as much as you can while you are waiting. Her eyes lingered for a moment on Neville's cloak, which was fastened under his left ear, and on Ron's smudged nose. Harry nervously tried to flatten his hair. I shall return when we are ready for you, said Professor McGonagall. Please wait quietly. She left the chamber. Harry swallowed. How exactly do they sort us into houses? He asked Ron. Some sort of test, I think. Fred said it hurts a lot, but I think he was joking. Harry's heart gave a horrible jolt. A test? In front of the whole school? But he didn't know any magic yet. What on earth would he have to do? He hadn't expected something like this the moment they arrived. He looked around anxiously and saw that everyone else looked terrified too. No one was talking much except to Hermione Granger, who was whispering very fast about all the spells she'd learned and wondering which ones she needed. Harry tried not to listen to her. He'd never been more nervous. Never. Not even when he'd had to take a school report home to the Dursleys, saying that he'd somehow turned his teacher's wig blue. He kept his eyes fixed on the door. Any second now, Professor McGonagall would come back and lead them to his doom. Then something happened that made him jump about a foot in the air. Several people behind him screamed. What the? He gasped. So did the people around him. About 20 ghosts had just streamed through the back hall. Pearly white and slightly transparent, they glided across the room talking to one another, and hardly glancing at the first years. They seemed to be arguing. What looked like a little fat monkey was saying, Forgive and forget, I say. We ought to give him a second chance. My dear Friar, haven't we given Peeves all the chances he deserves? He gives us all a bad name, you know, and he's not really even a ghost. I say, what are you all doing here? A ghost wearing a ruff and tights had suddenly noticed the first years. Nobody answered. New students, said the fat friar, smiling round at them. About to be sorted, I suppose. A few people nodded mutely. Hope to see you in Hufflepuff, said the friar. My old house, you know. Move along now, said a sharp voice. The sorting ceremony's about to start. Professor McGonagall had returned. One by one, the ghosts floated away through the opposite wall. Now form a line, Professor McGonagall told the first years, and follow me. Feeling oddly as though his legs had turned to lead, Harry got into line behind a boy with sandy hair, with Ron behind him, and they walked out of the chamber, back across the hall, and through a pair of double doors into the great hall. Harry had never even imagined such a strange and splendid place. It was lit by thousands and thousands of candles that were floating in mid-air over 4 long tables, where the rest of the students were sitting. These tables were laid with glittering golden plates and goblets. At the top of the hall was another long table where the teachers were sitting. Professor McGonagall led the first years up here, so that they came to a halt in a line facing the other students with the teachers behind them. The hundreds of faces staring at them looked like pale lanterns in a flickering candlelight. Dotted here and there among the students, the ghosts shone misty silver, mainly to avoid all the staring eyes. Mainly to avoid all the staring eyes, Harry looked upward and saw a velvety black ceiling dotted with stars. He heard Hermione whisper, "It's bewitched to look like the sky outside. I read it about it in Hogwarts history." It was hard to believe there was a ceiling there at all, and that the Great Hall didn't simply open up to the heavens. Harry quickly looked down again as Professor McGonagall silently placed a 4-legged stool in front of her first years. On top of the stool she put a pointed wizard's hat. This hat was patched and frayed and extremely dirty. Aunt Petunia wouldn't have let that in the house. Maybe they had to try and get a rabbit out of it. Harry thought widely. That seemed the sort of thing. Noticing that everyone in the hall was now staring at the hat, he stared at it too. For a few seconds there was complete silence. Then the hat twitched. A ribbon in the brim opened wide like a mouth, and the hat began to sing. "Oh, you may not think I'm pretty, but don't judge on what you see. I'll eat myself if you can find a smarter hat than me. You can keep your bowlers black and your top hat sleek and tall, for I'm the Hogwarts sorting hat, and I can cap them all. There's nothing hidden in your head the sorting hat can't see, so try me on, and I will tell you where you ought to be. You might belong in Gryffindor, where dwell the brave at heart. Their daring nerve and chivalry set Gryffindors apart. You might belong in Hufflepuff, where they are just and loyal. Those patient Hufflepuffs are true, and unafraid of toil. Or yet in wise old Ravenclaw, if you've a ready mind, where those of wit and learning will always find their kind. Or perhaps in Slytherin, you'll make your real friends. Those cunning folk use any means to achieve their ends. So put me on, don't be afraid, and don't get in a flap. You're in safe hands, though I have none, for I'm a thinking cap." That's all for tonight, dearies. You all know what happens after that part, I assume. I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry that it was so long. I'm running on 8 minutes. Yikes. But I guess that's a good idea since I don't know when I'm posting next. Well, good night, dearies.